Alright, everybody, so we are back with our next episode of the TEW 9, the War of Immortals save here with WWF Classics. Tonight we are running WWFC Superstars, so let's take a quick rundown of last week's show, and we'll keep moving on here. So, the pre-show started off with the natural disasters defeating Akeem and King Kong Bundy. Then we had Vince and Jesse running down our card. We had Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeat the debuting Ray Stevens. We had Randy Savage warn Jake the Snake Roberts about their upcoming King of the Ring match. Ken Shamrock defeated Big Boss Man, advancing to the quarterfinals of the King of the Ring. Then we had Ted DiBiase telling Lex Luger, "I'm coming for that Intercontinental Championship." Then we had Ted DiBiase and Larry Zbyszko defeat Nick Bockwinkel and Lex Luger. We had Rick Rude wanting to end the feud with the Ultimate Warrior, so we challenged him to one last match at King of the Ring. Then we had Kenta Kobayashi defeat Dino Bravo to retain his All Japan Triple Crown title. Ken Shamrock says that he is going to be the King of the Ring this year, and nobody is going to stop him. The Road Warriors defeated Power and Glory. We had the LOD tell the Rougeaus that we're coming. We're taking those tag team titles. We had Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff defeat Jimmy Superfly Snuka in his King of the Ring match. Jimmy Hart and the Honky Tonk Man talking down to Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Then we had the Honky Tonk Man defend the World Television title against Brian Knobbs. Mr. Perfect talking about how Jake the Snake Roberts got lucky in that fatal four-way last week, but he's not going to get lucky tonight. But Jake Roberts did defeat Mr. Perfect in the main event. And after the match, Jake the Snake was beaten up by the Macho King, showing him who is the boss. So I am going to go ahead and start booking this week's show. So I will be right back. All right, everybody, we are back and we have the show booked. Let's jump right into this with our pre-show match. In a decent pre-show match, Nick Bockwinkel defeated Akeem in 10 minutes and 7 seconds with a pile driver. The crowd heat is expected and simmering. The wrestling rating is a 64. The crowd rating is a 57. And the segment got a 70. Akeem had a 61. Nick Bockwinkel had a 67. The commentary quality lifted the match. The color commentary lifted it as well. Slick did good work at ringside, and Akeem and Slick have pretty good chemistry. So I am making a change to Nick Bockwinkel's character. His gimmick, and it got a pour. Wow. Man, that sucks, man. He's just horrible at gimmicks. Okay, so let's head into our first segment of Jesse and Vince running down our card for the night. Welcome, everybody, to WWFC Superstars, and what a night we have ahead of us. Championship gold on the line, King of the Ring tournament action, and some of the toughest competitors in professional wrestling today. I'm Vince McMahon, alongside my broadcast partner, Jesse the Body Ventura. That's right, McMahon, and I gotta say, tonight is stacked with huge matches. I don't know how some of these guys are gonna walk out of here in one piece. It's gonna be a war. Indeed, Jesse, because tonight's main event, Randy the Macho King Savage defends his WWFC World Heavyweight Championship against the Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Snuka is one of the most unpredictable and dangerous competitors in WWFC history. Will he be the one to finally dethrone the Macho King? I'll tell you this, McMahon, Randy Savage has been a fighting champion, but he also got Jake the Snake breathing down his neck in that steel cage match at King of the Ring. Is just around the corner. If Savage isn't careful, Snuka could walk away as the new champion tonight. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the WWFC Intercontinental Championship will be on the line when Lex Luger defends against Mr. Perfect in what could be one of the greatest rematches of all time. Luger captured that title from Mr. Perfect, but can he hang on to it tonight? McMahon, I know you love Luger, and let's Face it, he got lucky last time. Perfect is the greatest technical wrestler in the business today. And tonight, he's taking his title back. And let's not forget the King of the Ring continues with the final two quarterfinal matchups. That is totally wrong. It is Kenta Kobayashi versus Ken Shamrock and Paul Orndorff versus Sergeant Slaughter. As the King of the Ring heats up, and these men will not stop against anything to advance. And don't forget about another big time matchup. The living legend Larry Zbyszko takes on gentleman Chris Adams. Zbyszko has been making waves here in the WWFC, and I guarantee you, he's going to try and send a message to Nick Bockwinkel tonight. There is no doubt about that, Jesse. Tonight's edition of WWFC Superstars is one you won't want to miss. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be an explosive night. So the crowd is hot and rising. The segment got an 80. It advanced all our storylines here on Superstars and the King of the Ring tournament as well. Jesse improvised well throughout the segment. Vince McMahon improvised well throughout the segment. The commentary quality lifted it. The angle got the crowd hotter, and the angle was a great way to start the show. So let's head into our first match, which is one of the King of the Ring quarterfinal matchups. In a technical masterclass that had good wrestling and decent reactions from the crowd, Kenta Kobayashi defeated Ken Shamrock in 15:03 by pinfall with a burning lariat. This match was a part of the King of the Ring tournament. The crowd is hot. The wrestling rating got a 79. The crowd rating got a 66. And the segment got an 83. Ken Shamrock had an in-ring performance of 79. Kenta Kobayashi had a 79 as well. The King of the Ring tournament advanced, and it gained some heat as well. So let's head to our next matchup. Lex Luger, you may be walking around with the WWF Intercontinental Championship, but let's get one thing straight. You're only holding that title until I decide to take it from you. And believe me, Luger, that time is coming very, very soon. See, Luger, you've got all the muscles, all the athleticism, but what you don't have is the brains. You don't have the resources, and you don't have the ruthlessness to do whatever it takes to stay champion. But me? I'm willing to do anything to get what I want, and that includes buying, bribing, and beating my way to the top. Lex, you might have beaten Mr. Perfect, but now you got a real problem, me. And I promise you, when the $1 Million Man sets his sights on something, he always gets what he wants. And what I want is that Intercontinental Championship by any means necessary, Luger. I will take the title, and there isn't anything you can do about it. So the crowd heat is now white hot. The segment got a 90. Lex Luger and the Ted DiBiase storyline automatically advanced. Ted DiBiase clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and performed well, and it got the crowd hotter. So let's head to our next match. In a decent match, Ted DiBiase defeated Jerry Saggs in 11:32 by submission with his $1 Million Dream. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 69. The crowd rating is a 63. The segment got an 81. Ted DiBiase had a 79. Jerry Saggs had a 60. It advanced the Lex Ted DiBiase storyline. Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon have pretty good chemistry when calling matches. And the commentary quality lifted the match. And Ted DiBiase benefited from having a hot new move. So let's head to our next segment. Nick Bockwinkel. You thought you could escape me. You thought you could leave the past behind, run off to the WWFC, and carve out some kind of second life for yourself? But you were wrong, weren't you? Because no matter where you go, no matter what company you run to, no matter how much you try to convince yourself that you're still the same legend you were in your prime, I'm always there waiting. Let's be honest, Nick. You're running on borrowed time. Your legacy, it's fading. Your name, just diminishing. And the moment you step foot in the WWFC, your days were numbered because I made it my mission to finish what should have been done years ago. I don't care how many years you spent calling yourself the smartest man in professional wrestling. I don't care how many championships you've held, how many matches you've won, or how many people still whisper about the so called legend of Dick Buckwinkle. Because the fact of the matter is, you're in my world now. And in my world, I make the rules. You don't get to ride off into the sunset, Nick. You don't get to leave on your own terms. You get to leave when I say so. And I say your time here in the WWFC is just about up. I am going to end you, Nick Bockwinkel, and when I do, the wrestling world will finally see what I've always known. You were never as great as you claim to be, and Larry Zbyszko is the man who will shut you down once and for all. So, the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 76. It advanced the Nick Bockwinkel Larry Z storyline. The angle idea was a success, and the commentary quality lifted the segment as well. So, let's head off to our next match. In a decent match, Larry Zbyszko defeated Chris Adams in 9:38 by submission with a Larry Land Dreamer. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 70. The crowd rating is a 67. The segment got an 82. Chris Adams got a 71. Larry Zbyszko got a 70. Chris Adams debuted a sharp-dressed man gimmick, and it got an initial rating of great. Chris Adams and Larry Zbyszko have great chemistry, and it showed in their performances. Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon have pretty good chemistry when calling matches, and the commentary quality lifted the match. So, there's a small boost to charisma during matches and angles. So, well, that's fantastic. So, let's head off to our next segment here. Oh, Raymond, would you look at this? Once again, the fabulous Rougeaus stand before you as the greatest tag team in the WWFC. And yet, every week we have to listen to those two-faced painted barbarians, the Road Warriors, run their mouths about how they're coming for us. It's really quite adorable, Jacques. How can animal you two think just because you stomp around like a couple of cavemen and yell a lot? It makes you dangerous, please. You're nothing more than brute force, no class, no intelligence, and no strategy. Just mindless muscle. And that's why you'll never take these titles from us. Huck, animal, you look scary, I'll give you that. But here's the problem. We're smarter than you, we're faster than you, and most importantly, we're better than you. We've defended these titles against the best teams in the world, and we didn't just win, we embarrassed them. And when it comes to the Road Warriors, history will repeat itself. Oh yeah, baby. Road Warriors, you two might think you're the baddest team in town, but let me tell you something, baby. The fabulous Rougeaus run this division. These two men are the greatest tag team of all time, and you know it. So keep barking, keep growling, keep painting your little faces, because at the end of the day, you ain't never going to take these titles, babies. Face it, Road Warriors. We are everything you wish you could be. Champions, technicians, and let's not forget, we look good doing it, too. So keep dreaming, boys, because no matter how many times you step up, the results will always be the same. The fabulous Rougeaus standing victorious. So the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 74. It advanced the Rougeaus and the Road Warrior storyline. Jimmy Hart improvised well throughout the segment, and the commentary quality lifted the segment as well. So Jimmy Hart is now going to be their manager to kind of help them out with promos. So we'll see how well this works. So let's head to our next segment. In a decent match, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Natural Disasters defeated the Honky Tonk Man and the Powers of Pain in 11:43 when Earthquake pinned Warlord with the Earthquake Splash. In terms of in-ring work, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was head and shoulders above everybody else. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 63. The crowd rating is a 55. The segment got a 79. Typhoon had a 70. Earthquake had a 65. Hexa had an 82. The Warlord had a 45, Barbarian had a 50, and the Honky Tonk Man had a 64. It advanced the Honky Tonk Man versus Hacksaw storyline. The commentary quality lifted the match. Jimmy Hart did good work at ringside, and Slick did some good work at ringside. So let's head off to our next segment. No, I didn't mean to put Lex on. Whatever. Lex Luger, I hope you enjoyed every little fairy tale run. Your little fairy tale run as the WWF Intercontinental Champion. Because tonight, it comes to an end. You got lucky when you beat me for the title, but let's get something straight. You're not perfect. I am. And when we step into that ring tonight, there will be no luck, no flukes, just me taking back what is rightfully mine. You see, Luger? You might have muscles, you might have power, but you don't have perfection. And while you're busy flexing in the mirror, I've been training, preparing, and perfecting my craft. That title doesn't belong to you, it belongs to Mr. Perfect, and tonight I prove it. Luger, enjoy your last few hours as champion, because once the bell rings, I'm going to out-wrestle you, outsmart you, and outclass you. When it's all said and done, there will only be one man standing tall, one man holding the Intercontinental Championship high, and one man walking away as the greatest champion this company has ever seen. And you're looking at him. So the crowd heat is very hot. The excuse me. The segment got a 92. It advanced the Jake Roberts, Randy Savage Perfect storyline, the Lex Luger and Ted DiBiase storyline. Mr. Perfect benefited from having a hot catchphrase. So let's head off to our next match. In a decent match, the fabulous Rougeaus defeated the Bushwhackers at 9:49 when Jacques pinned Bushwhacker Butch with the Le Baume de Rougeau. The fabulous Rougeaus make defense number 6 of the WWFC tag team titles. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 70. The crowd rating is a 50. Excuse me. It's a 50. The segment got a 77. Bushwhacker Luke got a 61. Bushwhacker Butch got a 55. Raymond Rougeau got a 72. Holy smokes. Jacques got a 91. It advanced the Rougeaus the Road Warriors storyline. Bushwhacker Butch and Luke showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Jacques and Raymond showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Jesse and Vince have pretty good chemistry when calling matches together. And both Jacques and Raymond have pretty good chemistry with Jimmy Hart as their manager. So that is a great thing to see. So let's move on to our next segment. Rick Rude, the battle lines have been drawn. The fate of the Warriors is sealed in destiny. For too long, you have slithered in the shadows, trying to outmatch the power, the energy, the force of the Ultimate Warrior. But at King of the Ring, there will be no more running, no more taunting, and no more destruction. You have stood in my way before, Rude. You have tried to steal my energy, to drain the power of the Warriors, but you cannot weaken what is unstoppable. You cannot destroy what is immortal. And at King of the Ring, under the weight of the gods and the roar of the heavens, I will take you to the battlefield one last time. Rude, when the final bell tolls, when the dust settles, and when the warrior stands tall, you will fade away into the darkness. You will know that you were never meant to survive in the land of the warrior. And as you take your last breath in this war, you will understand that the power of the warrior is forever. The crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 92. It advanced the Rick Rude Ultimate Warrior storyline. So let's head off to the next segment. In a wild brawl that had superb wrestling and good heat, Lex Luger defeated Mr. Perfect in 10:02 by submission with his torture rack. Lex makes defense number 1 of his Intercontinental title. The crowd is hot and very hot. The wrestling rating is an 89. The crowd rating is a 76, so we got a 90 for that match. Lex Luger got a 92. Mr. Perfect had an 86. It advanced the Savage Roberts Perfect storyline and the Lex Luger Ted DiBiase storyline. So let's head off to our next segment. No, not too bad. Take a long, hard look at this bracket because when you're looking at it, it's the road to Mr. Wonderful's crowning moment. I told everybody when this tournament started that I was the man to beat, and so far, I've been right. And tonight is just another step closer to what's rightfully mine. Sergeant Slaughter, I don't know what delusion you're living under, but if you think you're marching into that ring tonight and stopping me from moving on to the semifinals, then you're even dumber than you look. This tournament ain't about serving your country, Slaughter. It's about winning. It's about being the best, and tonight, I'm going to show you exactly why I'm the only man who deserves to be called King of the Ring. After tonight, there won't be any more questions, no more doubts, no more what ifs. Paul Orndorff is the man. Next week, I move on to the semifinals. And after that, my rightful place in the finals. And when it's all said and done, when the dust is settled and I'm standing tall with the crown on my head, every single person watching will have no choice but to say it. Mr. Wonderful reigns supreme. Slaughter, I'm not just going to beat you, I'm going to end you. You're looking at the next King of the Ring, and tonight, you're just another obstacle standing in my way. See you in the ring if you've got the guts. So the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 77. It advanced the Slaughter Orndorff storyline and the King of the Ring storyline, and the commentary quality lifted the segment. So let's head to our next match. In a decent match, Mr. Wonderful defeated Sergeant Slaughter in 11:07 with a pile driver. So the crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 66. The crowd rating is a 66. The segment got a 77. Sergeant Slaughter had a 64. Mr. Wonderful had a 68. It advanced the Slaughter's Orndorff storyline and the King of the Ring storyline. Jesse and Vince have pretty good chemistry when calling matches together, and the commentary quality lifted the match. So let's head to our next segment here. Randy Savage, the Macho King, WWFC World Heavyweight Champion. That's a title you've been holding on to real tight, isn't it? Clutching it close like a child with a favorite toy. After that, afraid that if you loosen your grip, someone's going to take it away. But at King of the Ring, Randy, that's exactly what's going to happen. See, I don't need to scream at the top of my lungs. I don't need to prance around in flashy colors. And I sure as the hell don't need people to tell me I'm great. I know what I am. I am the darkness that creeps in when you think you're safe. I'm the whisper in the back of your mind that tells you everything you hold dear is slipping through your fingers. I am the end of your reign. This has been brewing for a long time, hasn't it? From the moment we locked eyes at WrestleMania, you knew this wasn't going away, no matter how many times you tried to run, no matter how many times you tried to fight back. I was always there, watching, waiting. And now, Savage, the waiting is over. At King of the Ring, you walk into that steel cage thinking you're the one in control. You think that because you survived everything I've thrown at you, you're going to walk out still the champion. But let me ask you something, Randy. How do you plan to escape when there's nowhere left to run? When those walls close in, and the only thing left in that ring is you and me? You can call yourself the Macho King, but when the dust settles and the cage door is closed, there won't be any more pomp, no more pageantry, and no more madness. There will just be Jake Roberts standing over you and a new WWFC World Heavyweight Champion crowned. See you in the cage, champ. Let's see how well you survive when you've got no one left to save you. So the crowd is very hot. The segment got a 92. It advanced the Savage Roberts Perfect storyline. So let's head to our main event. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, the Macho King Randy Savage defeated Jimmy Snuka in 12-14 by pinfall with the flying elbow drop. The Macho King Randy Savage makes defense number 6 of his WWFC World Heavyweight title. The crowd is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 72. The crowd rating is a 73. And we got an 87. The Macho King had a 90. Jimmy Snuka had a 53. It advanced the Savage Roberts Perfect storyline. Snuka was off his game, and the match got the crowd buzzing. So, let's finish off the show here. We got an 88, and it increased our popularity in 6 regions. We would have gained 2 in the US, but we're limited, and 1 in Canada, but we are limited. So, let's finish up the show. The financial report, we made $745,000. The pop recap, we went up to 74 in all of Canada and almost up in British Columbia. Man. So, that is everything for this episode. I will see you all in the next one.